Hi and welcome, this is an educative series of videos. We are going to learn how to build an application in React, and for the backend we are using Firebase. And to make the process a little bit funnier, we are going to create a tool to assist us in this idle game. I mean, this one, Idle Planet Miner. This is not a sponsorship or anyway, but I like it. And we would like our application to fulfill a demand, so let's try with this. If you want to jump straight into the coding sessions, you can just go to the timestamps. So, as I said, we are going to use React and Firebase for the backend. The objective is clear, we just have to start simple and then we add some features. Of course, I will use Git to manage the versioning, and the code will be accessible from the links in the description. If you want to watch this playlist, you might need some basics in HTML and JavaScript, but this is not mandatory. I'm going to explain everything, but I will focus on the React part. So voila, the process will be very simple. We just add the code, then we check if it works, and then we clean it. So yes, this video will go at an extremely fast pace. The aim is to deliver faster content. You can pause it anytime so that you control the speed of the process. I will make sure that every time I talk, I will deliver a piece of information. And now, before starting, let's talk about the game to define the needs. Here it is, Idle Planet Miner. So as you can see, we have some money here. The aim of the game is to colonize some planets. On every planet we can dig for materials, and we can sell the collected material to get more money. And with this money we can get more material, you get the concept. We will see later in the game that we can perform some researches. It will make it faster and better. But for that I will need to craft some items. So maybe we should start with the most basic need we can find. So here is a little advice. If you are new to programming, you can just check the information whenever you don't understand anything. If I ever use a command that you don't understand, just check out on the internet. But I will make my way to provide some basic information about it. Okay, so first we are initializing the project. We just have to go on the ReactJS dev, we get this line of command, and we use it. Bloop. We give a little name, we are going to select React, and we are going to select TypeScript. TypeScript because it will avoid some mistakes. And this will make it easier for later purpose. Okay, we are almost done. Now all we need to do is to follow the instructions. You can use this symbol to change the instructions. And once it's done, it should display a new page. And there we go, the server has started. All I have to do is to go to this link. Here is the project. Now I just have to follow what is said. Here is the code, so I'm going to remove it. Much better like this. If I save this file, it should be gone. Still, I can write something in the middle to check if it works. And now I think the project is ready to be started. Let's think about what we need. So if we take a look at the game, we can check that we have some copper and some iron. But the iron is more expensive than the copper. But we also get less iron than copper. What I would like to know is just to display them. Okay, so we know we are going to display the copper, as well as the iron. The copper price is $1, and the iron price is $2. Nice, we cannot do a lot with this. I also know that I can get this amount of copper every second. Let's try it. Oh, and this planet also gives me some copper. So we are going to add it. But I will need to count it in my head every time. No, let's not do that. But instead we can ask the program to do it for us. If you want to add two numbers, just do it that way. Everything in the mustaches are going to be calculated, and I'm going to use this command to round it up. So this is the result. And we can also do the same for the iron. Let's do this again. There we go. And here is the result. So with this simple table, we can know that the iron is less interesting than the copper. But now what I would like to know is what part of the income is the copper and the iron. So I will need to calculate some values before. We are going to process the data here, and everything that we are going to display will be in this block of code. Okay, but what do we need to calculate? First, we need to get the total income per second. So we are going to add the copper income with the iron income. So the total income is the sum of both. Let's display it. Voila! Not voila, it's not working. If we write it like that, this will not work as expected. If I want to display the value stored in this variable, I need to use the mustache. Almost perfect. Let's add the toFixed instruction. And boom! You might have noticed that I used the h2. It's just used to display it in a header. So now that we have checked that it's working, it's time to clean it up. The copper income is stored in this constant, so it can replace this quantity. This quantity and this quantity are the same, and iron income as well. Now we are going to add some spaces to make it more readable. Oop. And this wording is bad, so let's just change it to this. Much better. Let's keep going. Now we would like to know what percentage will bring every material. Very easy. We divide the copper income by the total income, and we multiply it by 100. Now that we have the value, we just have to display it. And we just have to do the same for the iron. So now we just have to update the values, and voila, that's much better. Hey, check this out. It looks like we have discovered a new material. We are getting a very few, but we can sell it at a higher price. Let's add it to our board. So first we add the income, then we add it to the total income, we calculate the percentage, and then we display everything. Oh yes, I have forgotten something very important. I forgot to use the price of the material. Effectively, the iron income is this, but we have to multiply it by the price. So this is the real income. We save it, and now the percentage is affected. Same here. This is very interesting because if we need a specific amount of money, we can know now when we can reach it, or how long we are going to wait until we get enough. And now, as you can see, the copper is not so much interesting anymore. So maybe this will be more interesting to invest in the iron instead. But wow, this is exhausting. Don't worry, we are going to perform a research in the game. In fact, once we get this upgrade, we will know very much easier, without having to enter the values by hand. And while the game is making more money, maybe we should try to add some style to our page. Because at this moment, this is ugly. I don't think that this will be much prettier, but let's try it anyway. Let's stop the server, Ctrl+C. Then let's create a new app.scss. This is a new file, we will use it to make the colors, the spacing and all. So first I would like the content to be centered. Let's add a class name to this box, and in the SCSS file we are going to select it. For every element with the class name app, I would like to add a border, 1 pixel wide, I want it in a solid style, and with the black color. We save it. If it doesn't work, maybe we should check in the console. First, the server has not started, so this is why. Okay, so now we have a new error. This is the inspect tool of the browser. Oh, this is a 500 error. We'd better look at our code now. And indeed, we have an error. It says that SAS has not been found. Okay, no problem. Yes, because SCSS is using SAS. Let's install it. We cut the server, we install it, and we restart the server. And now the error is gone. 200, okay. And here is the style, wonderful. Okay, now let's add some details on it. I would like the app to take the whole screen. So this way is good. I will also remove some unnecessary margins. I would like it to take the whole screen, so let's add this property. I can also add the background color if I want. Boop! Ah, this is ugly, you! Okay, wonderful. Now I would like to center this header. So for every H2 of my app, I would like it to be aligned. In the center, like this. And now let's take care of those lines. First, I would like them to be in the same container. And since we are going to add some style at this container, we are going to name it. This name looks good. We just have to put what we have written inside. We put this part inside of the div. Nothing happens, it's okay. And now we can select it. For every element with the class name material in my code, I want to add a border. This will be easier to follow after that. But don't worry, we will remove them later. Okay, so what I would like to do is to align the prices and every element of every line. First, I'm going to wrap everything into spans. Nothing changed, it's still working, that's good. And now I would like that for every P inside the material container, I just can change the color if I want. That's interesting. This is why I love using SAS, because that way it will not select the outer P's. And here is the result. This one is not red. So it's not supposed to be, because it is outside of the container. Okay, let's think a little bit. I would like every line to have the same structure. And an efficient way to do it is to use the display grid. Just like this. Now we need to give a shape to the line. What I would like to do is to display it into columns. I would like the first child to take every space he can, and the second child to take every space he can. And the same for the remaining ones. If we save it, we can see that this is aligned. This is cool. But we are repeating ourselves. This is not so easy to read. Instead, I can use the repeat instruction. I want to repeat it 4 times. And this is the value. I save it, nothing changes. This is good. I can remove the color red now. Boop. And that's good. This way, this is not bad. I think this is the best I can do. Oh, by the way, if you have the value 0 dot something, you can just write it like this. This is exactly the same. I don't know how many materials there are in this game, but this is going to be very exhausting. I mean, this code and this code are practically the same. The only differences I see is the name, the price and all. Maybe there is some way to factor it. Because what I would like to do is that for every material, I would like to display all of this information. Price, income per second, percentage of the total income. And instead of writing every time the same line, because now this is easy, there are only 3 materials, that's good. But just imagine what the code would look like if I use like 10, 20 materials. That would be horrible to read. No. Maybe we can do better. Let's try it. How are we supposed to do? So let's ask this question. What is a material? In my opinion, at this point of the development, a material is this. It has a name, it has a price, and this is a number, and it has an income per second. Let's write it down so I don't forget it in the future. So we got this type, and now I just have to fill the values. Let's create a box called copper of type material. We fill in the values here, like this is perfect. And this is why we use TypeScript. Because if I ever want to use another property, then it would just yell at me to say, oh no, this is not the shape of the material. Very useful, avoiding a tons of bugs. So let's create the remaining ones, and then we are going to put them into the same array. Reminder, an array is a structure of multiple values with the same shape. It can be strings, numbers, or objects. So voila, this is our array. If I would like to check the content of my array, I can use the console.log instruction. Very useful. I just need to put what we have to display. And then if I go in the console, here is what we see. We see an array of objects with the properties. Cool! Now that we know that the array is well shaped, it's time to try to display it. So we are going to recreate the same box as before. This is a calculated value, so we have to use it in the move stages. What I would like to do is that for every material of the array materials, I display this. And of course, beware of the closing symbols. They should not overlap each other, blah blah blah. And so if we save it, we can see that haha is displayed 3 times. Why 3 times? Because we have said that for every material in the materials array, we display haha. How many elements are in the materials array? 3 elements. So 3 haha. This is not very interesting, but we can also display some property of the material. For example, we can read it like this. For every material in the materials array, I would like to display its name, because every material has a name. Easy, right? I would also like to display the price, but if I save there is an error. Don't worry, this one is easy to fix. We just have to wrap it into these symbols. Then if we save, the error is gone. Now we know that we have access to every data into the material array. Let's just try to reproduce the array below. There we go, and this is exactly the same structure as below. Nice. Now I can remove this one. And this is all the lines of code we need. That's good. It will work for 3 materials, 10 materials, 20 materials, 2000 materials. Nice. And now that we have only one child, we can remove those parts. And now we just have to adapt the total income value too. This is exactly the same. The total income is the income of the copper plus the income of the iron and the income of the lead. But now that we have the price, we don't have to multiply it anymore. Let's make it simpler. Boop. But of course we will need to multiply it. This is much better like this. And this is much easier, because if I ever change this price, for example like this, then it will be up to date. There, and also there. That's good. I can change it to anything I want. Wow, we have been to a long journey. Let's have a little break.